Hey guys, thanks for dropping by for our race spec video on the 2024 Yamaha YZ250f. Great bike, and by the end of a couple of days of riding this thing, we're out here again today at Paris, and got some pretty good starting points for you guys. So let's start with the engine. Obviously not a ton of changes to make in stock trim, but they do have a couple different maps on this. So light off is standard map. You hold the button down for a second and the blue light comes on. That is the what they are calling kind of their aggressive map, and I found that to be just a better map all the way around. I can't see a scenario, maybe beginner rider or something might like the standard one better. The aggressive map doesn't, it says aggressive, but it's just a little bit sharper everywhere. It doesn't jump out of your hands. It's not harder to ride. Highly recommend just trying that one. I had my bars, there's obviously a front and a back mounting position. I had them in the back mounting position with the clamps spun around forward. I find that to be the most centered, neutral position. I think unless you are a really tall guy, I don't recommend going to that forward position. I feel like it puts too much weight over the front. My recommendation, but the way it comes standard should be in the rear mounting holes with the bar mount spun around so they're forward, which gives you a really centered, neutral platform. I do recommend, if you're going to leave the stock grips on, get some grip donuts. Those stock grips are tough and they will give you that Yama thumb in a hurry. I started getting a blister today and had to throw some grip donuts on, some Nihilo Concepts donuts. So do one of the two things, either get different grips or put on some donuts. That'll help you save yourself some skin. I thought the gearing was really good on this bike, so I don't recommend any gearing changes. It does come with Dunlop MX33s. The 34 is a better tire, front and rear. If I would say 3S if you're soft to medium on the front, or a 34, and then just 34 rear. It's good for everywhere, great tire. 12 pounds, 12 and a half on those, and you're looking good. As far as suspension settings, 104, 105 sag is a good kind of starting point, 103 to 105, let's say. And some of that is just dependent on the way you like your bike. I like mine to have a little more squat, so I'm at 105 millimeters of sag. If you are a taller guy, you like the back end of your bike to be taller, then maybe go down closer to 100 even. You know, that's an adjustment that you can make, and even a mil or two makes a difference. It really does. So play with that. If you feel like, oh man, I feel like the back end's too high, it's pushing the front end in the corners, add a little more sag, drop the back end of that thing down. And you can also do that with high-speed compression. I'll talk a little bit about that, but start with finding a sag number that you really like. So 103 to 105 is what you're shooting for there. And then I liked this stuff. I felt like, one, and I mentioned this in our intro video, this suspension, if it's brand new, it's pretty stiff. It's firm feeling. Give it a little bit of time to break it in. Leave it in the stock positions. It should be 12 out. Just leave it, ride it for the day. You can open it up a little bit if it feels stiff, but don't get crazy or get panicked and think, oh, I got to revalve this, it's too stiff. Let it break in. It's very firm initially. By the end of a couple of days, where I landed with my clickers, my fork compression, I'm 4 out, so I'm at 16. I did not touch the rebound in the fork. I thought it felt good. I didn't have any issues with the front end. On the rear shock, I'm 4 clicks out in low speed as well from standard, so 16 out. And then I opened the high speed compression 1/4 of a turn. Now, if you're not familiar, the high speed is the knob that's adjustable. The low speed is the screwdriver clicker, okay? And the high speed and low speed kind of work together, but the high speed will actually really affect the ride height of your bike. So if you found you like your sag at a certain spot, but you want it to kind of settle a little bit more in the back, you can open that high-speed compression knob out. Small adjustments, 1/8 of a turn, 1/4 turn, and you'll feel the bike kind of settling down in a little bit. If you go too far, a lot of times what will happen is it feels like it kind of hits a plateau, kind of halfway into the stroke, and that's not good. You know, that means you're down into the stiffer part, and you need to just maybe bring it back up a little bit. And you could go to maybe adding more sag. But it's a really good tool for balancing the bike, because it's almost like fine-tuning that height adjustment for the rear end of the bike. So I'm 1/4 out from standard, and 4 clicks softer on the low speed. Did not touch my rebound. Some guys felt like slowing the rebound down in the rear helped them. They felt like they were getting a little bit like it was going in and then popping up on them. To me, if that's happening, if you're getting into a bump and it's popping up, you're probably too soft. So try firming up your compression clicker and keep it from getting down into the stroke too far, because if it gets deep into that stroke, it's gonna wanna pop up. Yes, you can fix that by slowing your rebound down, but that's gonna affect you on chatter coming out of bumps and things like that, where it may start packing. So there's a lot to suspension, I get it. So I'm just giving you a kind of a rough outline of where to start. And then the other thing that made a difference for me is fork height. They come standard at 7 mil, and I slid the fork tubes down to 5 mil. So it's only a 2 millimeter difference. Not a massive change, but it did give me a little bit more of a planted feel with that front end. Not so kind of, I don't want to say nervous, but it was a little too reactive. And I adapted to it, was making it work, but when we dropped it down to 5, it just kind of quieted everything down and really made that front end feel like it was sticking better. Without losing its ability to turn, which a lot of times will happen. You drop them down and it feels like the front end's kind of mushy or plowing. You know, you just lose some of that ability to turn with the front tire. I didn't lose it. So I highly recommend at least trying dropping your forks down to 5 mil and feel it. If you don't like it, go back, but it's an easy change and something to try. And then that was it for me. I left everything else as it was. I was really happy with it. Like I said, gearing's good, brakes worked great, really broad engine, really stoked on the way that thing felt. I'm a big believer in taking out or finding an aftermarket air filter cage that doesn't have the screen. Yes, there's some risk in that. If it does backfire, it can light your filter on fire. It's happened, but you will get better airflow with that, so take that risk at your own, peril. It's something I do. And that's it, man. I like I said, this thing comes really, really good, just a few tweaks. If you're just kind of lost with your settings, use this as kind of a base to start with. Obviously, everybody's different. Everybody likes a little bit different feel. If you ride more over the front or over the back, it's gonna change. This isn't a one setting fits all. But if you're kind of lost and not sure where to go and it's not working the way you want it, try this. I think it'll be at least a good starting point for you and can help get you out of the woods a little bit. So hope this helps. Enjoy your Yamaha if you got one of these. It's a great bike. I know you'll be happy with it. And stay tuned as we build this thing into a project. We've got some neat stuff and maybe have a few little tricks that we can share with you that really bring this bike to life. So stick around for that. We'll see you next time.